can probably see, here at the farm they do things a little uniquely. So can you tell us about what this is that we're looking at and how you go about producing your meats and chickens in different ways?
Well, the main thing about our farm is that this is a grass-based operation. Everything we do is based on grass and getting the animals out of the barns and out into a natural environment as much as possible. So what you see behind you is this is a mobile hen-laying house. We move it every morning, and there's about 250 birds in here, and they travel with us. At night they'll go up into the house, we close the doors, and then we pick the fence up and it travels with it, and then we set the fence back down and the birds come out in the morning. So everything they need for themselves is inside that house.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you've had to face when trying to produce meat in such a natural way? Have you run into any hardships that you think you may not have had using a more traditional method?
Well, sure. Probably the number one thing is dealing with the outside weather.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you can't control it like you do in a barn, you've got to deal with severe winds, picking up buildings and tossing them around and so forth, as well as freezing water lines and severe temperatures in the wintertime. Obviously, we can't raise these animals in the wintertime. So from a business standpoint, we're pretty much done by November 1st.
Okay.
November 1st, we shut everything down, and whether we like it or not, the winters are shut down. So that means you've got to grow all of your product within about a 6 to 7 month window. And that's a very difficult thing to do, and still be, you know, cost competitive with the big agribusiness who are out there growing it in barns, you know, year round.
And how have you tried to compete with them? How do you market yourself to the people around you to try to draw in some consumers from places that might typically go to different stores than the grocery store? How do you try to bring them in here? How do you get the word out?
Well, we use the internet. It's probably the best solution. We've got a website up, and we do a lot of literature on the internet that explains what we do. Of course, there's a very big movement out there that's people trying to get in touch with the food and understand, you know, how it's raised and so forth. So that has helped us out quite a bit. We also do farmers markets. The farmers markets, we do 3 of them a week, and that has just been a great extension to families and so forth that want to find out about us. And then, of course, once they've tried our products, we have extremely high repeat business. So it's really.
I also noticed that you sell a more unique product in the store, and that's pet food. So how did you get the idea to do something as unique as that?
Well, that was like any business person, you're always looking for ways to cut your costs and improve your profits and so forth. And here we are processing, you know, thousands of birds each month, and we've got all these frames where we've taken the boneless, skinless breast off and the legs and thighs, and the frame is being, you know, discarded in the compost pile. And so it's like, man, I wish there's something we could do with that. Well, we were donating a great deal of it to Wheeler Missions, and we still do that, but there's only so much they can take.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we got the idea, you know, we had a lot of folks who found out about us and came and started buying that as dog food. And after a little while, they actually pushed me into it and said, you know, would you mind grinding this for us? And so, well, one thing led to another. We did a little research. We talked to quite a few people who are feeding their animals the raw diet, is what it's called. And so we just simply adapted to what they wanted. And so we did kind of a survey and talked to people what they wanted. It's a pretty simple recipe. And so we just grind up all those chicken frames. We don't use feathers or intestines; those are composted. It's really just the frame. There's still a lot of meat on it,
Yeah.
and then we package that, put some fish oil in it, some vegetables, and then put it in 5-pound bags and freeze it. And people then feed it to their animals as raw pet food. And it does pretty well. It helps cut off your waste, as well as provides a little bit more profit for the business.
And another way that I've seen that you're adding profit to your business is selling to different retail outlets, such as restaurants. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started and went about trying to market your food to these retail places?
Well, in that situation, it's a typical sales effort. You know, you just got to go out and talk to as many retail outlets as you can find that are going to do this. Now, you've got to kind of position yourself what type of market you want to be in. If I go after some of the biggest chain stores, you know, I'm going to have to be able to produce 50 to 100,000 birds, and that's too big for us. So really, you focus on the smaller individual shops. that are something you can provide to just a few stores, and it's kind of an analytical approach. You look at the yellow pages, or you search online. You find all the stores that are in the health food space in this city, and then you start making phone calls and you start making visits, and you just send them literature, give them some products to try, and so forth. And the next thing you know, you've got some orders.
Okay, well, and if you had one final piece of information to give to a producer who is trying to start up an industry such as yours with the grass-fed and a more unique niche market, what would be your tip to them?
Probably would be to start off slow. Don't rush it. So many people get into this business with a rosy idea that this is easy to do. That's not easy to do. It takes persistence to get through this. We're still struggling every day, in spite of how many birds we're raising, making sure that the business is profitable and making sure that we're, doing things, we haven't compromised our integrity on how we raise the animals and so forth. And a lot of people will get into this and any type of these products, and they'll just try to grow too fast, too quick, and it puts so much burden on them. In many cases, they end up going out of business because they can't sustain the pressure. So just take it easy and work at a pace and grow at a pace that you can realistically sustain.
All right, well, thank you, Stan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.